Yo, this is Dyson Knight. It's episode 55 of the SUP'M show. This is my show today because
Yes,
I've
it
already
is.
been accused of being the only person with this problem. So, the, to- the topic of the day is why most women don't climax, whereas almost all women do. Almost all men, sorry, all men do. Now, like I said, I'm already accused of being the only person that has this issue, because apparently none of my relationships have been with women that have found satisfaction with my bedroom skills. Now, I and all the people that I am talking about, the one or two people who've had the pleasure of experiencing my riz, as the young people call it, would have their own views. And hold a second. It's just like you mean when I get onto um a move or two, it seems like everybody's forget their own head. So let me just let me mute y'all for a second.
Yeah, do that.
All right. Now we do have the beautiful aunts in the building representing the women, and we definitely need some female representation right now in this show because I want to talk s- known facts. Well, I would call them well studied statistics. And statistics show that most women do not reach climax through intercourse. And that's pretty much my direction here. And I want to get to the bottom of it. And this isn't a matter of me coming into the show again with a whole bunch of research. I am talking from the point of a layman, of a common man. What common men think when they enter these scenarios, whereas they either have a woman nice enough to lie to them all their life.
You talking from the point of experience, y'all.
I'm quite confident in my experiences.
The
Um,
one or two.
and I know that I definitely have some women in my past who have been very gentle with my feelings and have lied through their teeth when it comes to whether or not I've done my job correctly. But all right, so gents, um,
Just to
y'all
be
leaving
clear,
me on my own here, so I'll just ask a few questions. Go ahead, Ken.
just to be clear. First of all, let's
Yes.
start off by saying uh this is not a show for kids today.
Oh, absolutely not.
Remember we were supposed to say that. Yeah, this is not a show for
Yes.
kids today. So don't let your young kids watch this show, okay? All right. Secondly, we're not talking about uh bad sex. We're talking about
Correct.
climax. Because both parties could climax and the sex could still be bad, right?
True.
So we ain't talking about that. We're talking about climax versus not climax, right? Just to be clear.
What's with the sign language going on in this corner?
Just being clear.
All right. Yeah, definitely, it's a grown up conversation. And since it was my idea, let me just tell you where I got it from.
Yep.
Um, I find that in a lot of my relationships, the one or two that I've had, it's always the expectation that I would do all the work in order to get to the destination. I know that that's not the case with a lot of women. I know a lot of women like to take charge too, but I feel as though, considering my my being a sex symbol per se, with my stage performances and whatnot,
Well, way to go, boy.
people have these
There
ideas
you go,
that,
Tyson. You let them know you a sex symbol, bro. You let them
yeah,
know.
yeah, you know, because I gyrate a lot on stage, especially in my younger years, yucking off the shape, gyrating, doing the 1 to 6,000 stops
Sure, when the
in
Scooby Doo jockeys on
0.34
stage. Yeah.
seconds. You know what I mean? So they have this idea, and I find that it's not that it's pressure. It was fun, but as I get older, I start to think that why I got to throw my back out in order to impress a female, or to have her have the most fun time of her life. Wee wee, like she wants swing from the vine, from the jungle vine, right? And
Say wee wee.
wee wee, right?
Oh boy.
But in order for that, I got to do all of the heavy lifting, the spinning around, the throwing up in the air, the Michael Jackson moonwalk straight into the. You got to do the most, right? And my thoughts is this: you have to be responsible for your own climax. Like you literally have to be responsible. Like that's if I get there and you ain't reached yet, that really should be your problem.
I
You know what I
digress.
mean?
Go ahead.
Because if I can master the art of getting there in under 5 minutes, but you can't, you have to study harder. Like you have to go to kung fu class because your kung fu ain't strong enough. Like this should be a race to the finish. I know most finish lines you have to race to. I don't know, get me wrong, and I feel a bit like we talked about gaslighting the other day. I feel a bit gaslighted, thinking that you in a race to get somewhere, but it's not right for me to get there first. What do you mean it's not good to be first? What what is wrong with being first? And is it my problem if you come second or not at all? If you don't place in the race, whose responsibility is that? So I guess we got some pressure. Let's start with the guys. Gents, do you feel as though it is a man's responsibility to see to it that the woman that he is with reaches that finish line, reaches that climax?
Dr. Bazard, may I?
Go ahead, sir.
Now, Dyson, according to you, that boy right up there, not him. According to you,
Yes, sir.
this whole climax shenanigans thing here, are we
Yes, sir.
talking about a one-time deal or a repeated deal with the same female? Because that's very important.
We're talking about, we can say, let me put the pressure on, a first time experience, a first and second time experience.
Well, from my perspective, so I heard, if it's a first time experience, it shouldn't even matter because you don't have no intentions of even doing anything with her again.
Second time.
But second time
Wait,
experience,
what? You have no intentions of doing anything with her again?
bro. If you're dealing with on some first night on a first night stand shit, who cares how I perform?
No. I mean, like, you've been dating for a while.
Well,
You've been talking
bro.
that trash for a minute.
Listen. Now, JP taking the bull by the horns here. Don't listen to Uncle JP. Don't listen to Dyson Knight on this one. You're wrong. All right? Y'all listen to me. Big JP, y'all listen to me. All right? I'm never wrong. I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong. Y'all figure it out. Anyway, I feel as if, as a man, you should definitely make sure that she get hers first, bro. And this have nothing to do with simping. This have nothing to do with, going overboard. But don't you want to enjoy it, over and over again? Don't you want her to reminisce on those feelings over and over again, but the complete package, the complete experience? A 5-minute situation, bro, like, nah, dude. Women take a lot more to get there than men because the majority of men are thirsty from jump. From jump, be thirsty. Well, not all. So the minute you enter that moist cavernous area, you're ready to shoot the whole walls up. You know what I'm saying? So you got to come up with something better than that, man. 5 minutes just ain't enough. I'm sorry, 5 minutes ain't enough for me.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm saying that's just a number you throw out there. But what I'm saying is getting to the finish line.
Yeah, getting
So
to the
you
finish
don't have to
line.
put a time on that.
Listen, getting to the
Let's say
finish.
it's 30 minutes.
I think that's minimum.
Okay, 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, and there's
After
no.
after 30 is a bonus.
If let's say it's an hour, but she still does not reach have a climatic
Well,
experience.
at that point, that's our problem. Mainly, hold on now,
Now,
hold on. Let me explain why I say that. Now, are we talking about different type of men here? Because a man like me, I got things to do, bro. I got a business to run. I got things to do. I don't have time to lay up 2, 3 hours trying to get you there, so to speak. You got to pull out the little buzz.
let's
You got to pull that shit out. Let's go.
let's
Because
pause
I
that
got
right there.
things to do.
Let's pause that right there. Let's pause that right there. Doc. An hour later,
Yeah, please
an
begin.
hour later, nothing from this female. No climax from this female. Is there something clinically wrong, doctor?
Possibly. And I made sure and review some things
Wrong
and
from who,
research.
though, Ken?
Huh?
Wrong on whose behalf? The
Well,
guy or the female?
could be with the female,
Okay,
but
go ahead.
again, with the average
Mhm.
time for men is less than 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. All right, and the
Mr.
Uh-huh.
30 minutes.
average time, that's the climax. The average time
Yeah, good solid 3.5.
the average time for females is 13 minutes. So you see the gap there? There's a
Yeah.
big gap, right? So if after an hour, is there something wrong? There could be, because there are lots of women who have problems climaxing, um, for no matter how good the sex is, no matter how
Mm-hmm.
long the sex is.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so to me, and I learned this as an older adult. When I was a young boy, I was just, you know, I thought
No, no, we
the
don't know.
longer I thought the longer, the stronger, the harder, the better. But that's not always true, and especially when you get older. Come on, man, we're trying to have a conversation here. So,
The
especially
longer,
when
the
you get
stronger, the harder, the better. I gotta
right.
write that down.
That's nasty number 4 right there, boy Dyson. Go ahead.
Don't write that down, Dyson.
No?
Uh,
Okay. All right. I gotta write it
what I'm trying to say is, I was insensitive
Yeah.
to the multiple factors that comes around to a woman arriving at climax. That's what I'm saying. Now, to answer Dyson's question, if I think who problem that is, well, I always felt this way. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just me being programmed or by society or whatever, but I always felt that it was my responsibility to make sure the woman climaxes. I always thought it was mine. I always took it upon myself,
Say that.
right?
All right.
Whether it's a one night stand or not, and it wasn't always about her. It was more or less about me. I have a reputation to, you know what I'm saying, to maintain.
All right. Hold on. Let's put a pin in there and welcome to the hot seat
+1.
because you said something just now. So Hans, the man, um, took on the responsibility to protect his image, to protect his name, to protect his reputation by ensuring that this female experiences at least a bare minimum of 30 minutes of pure intimate bliss.
Okay.
Was that really his was that really his responsibility, or is that a fear of shame? Because women is talk, because women turn around and say, who, him?
Yep.
That Negro age.
Nigga ain't shit.
Okay,
Oh, 5 minute sex ass nigga.
so let me just say the time thing, right? So the minimum of 30 minutes, that's not mandatory, that's not even necessary. If the goal is climax for both parties, when you get there, then that's it, it's done, right? So back to what Dyson said about if she doesn't get it, that's her responsibility, that's her business. No, no. So let's just go off of the
What?
way that, let's just go off of anatomy in itself, right? Anatomy in itself, the way the bodies were designed, it's much easier for a man to get there than it is for a woman, because all he needs is a warm, conducive enough situation, to hit. Stop shaking your
Mm-mm,
head, JP.
mm-mm,
To hit
mm-mm. But go ahead.
to hit these nerve endings, right? Now, again, this is
Go
just
ahead.
my opinion because, like, you guys know male bodies, I know female. But the only point I'm getting to is the female body, the female anatomy is different. No matter how long and hard or strong you go, if you're not hitting the correct spot, you'll be doing that for hours and nothing will happen.
That's true.
Agreed. Agreed. That is true.
So
100%
That
if
is
agree.
true.
you learn your woman, and this is where I feel like it's on both male and female, because she has to be able to speak up and say, "Wait, not there, here,
But you have
not
to
this
care also
way."
because Dyson don't care.
Right?
So you have
No,
to,
right,
you have to
right.
care.
Tyson don't care.
Hey,
So
hey, hey, hey. Point,
he,
hey, point above me, bro.
he
Tie me, and then
I
I
can't
tie
be
him.
telling me a whole bunch of things when I trying to concentrate. You can ruin my concentration. But what do you mean? What's happening?
so if he cares enough to accept instruction, and she is open enough to be able to speak up to you and not pretend, then it'll be fine. And it won't take 30 minutes.
But
So
most men in a situation like that can't take ridicule or even questioning or even instructions in that particular scenario. Most men.
Hmm.
I
so
think it depends
what
on
do
the
you
woman too.
feel? Whilst you here, then one, what do you feel a man's ego is affected by
Yeah,
just
by a lot of
being
stuff.
told that that's not the right spot, aim higher, aim lower.
Emotional ass, sensitive ass men, yes.
If you
Yes.
mean like a
But
situation
here's the
where
thing,
as
though, Dyson. But here's the thing. As Anne said, from her perspective, from a female, I agree with her 100%. I'm just shaking my head, being an ass here for no reason. That's what I do. But also, from a male's perspective, I've made women get up and leave in the past when I was single because they ain't doing it for me. Straight up. And I talking about, yeah, they banging, but listen, you got to go. But I'm different like that. I'm a little different. You got to ask that boy below. I'm a little different. I'm not, I ain't your average, dude who's thirsty like that. Never was. But I agree with her 100%, man. Like you have to know each other
Right.
to a point that it should not take 30 minutes. When I said 30 minutes, I'm talking about if you're trying to go for a real pleasure with somebody. I think
Right. Right.
before insertion,
Yeah.
okay? I'm
Hmm.
talking about the whole scenario, not
The whole,
just
yeah.
the
Right.
minute you meet them is in there and it's 30 minutes from that point forward. No.
Right.
I'm talking about everything from the makeout to the mind games, everything.
Right.
Right.
back to the good doc, as you said, 5 to 6 minutes on average for men, 13 minutes for women. I also read the statistic that it's 40 to 50 penetrations it takes before that little thing activates in the brain that says, okay, release, make a baby, right? Um
That's,
the Okay.
that sounds like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so
No, I mean,
we're talking
because,
now.
no, let me answer your question. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, I didn't hear you.
No, I was gonna say, I was gonna just talk about the science behind it, which is,
Yes.
and answer is correct. Um, the way that the penis itself is constructed, it's constructed to release, to it has one really sensitive point, which is the tip, the head, and then the rest of it is also sensitive, right? Whereas with the female, she has uh pretty much the opposite, which is a tunnel, and then she has different areas in there with different levels of sensation, right? All of it doesn't feel the same, and you could look at the ladies nodding. The whole area doesn't feel the same, and this is what we think when we're young. We don't notice when we're young. We just go, we just go, right? We don't know. We don't know what's the good side, what's the bad side, and it's not the same for all women. Some women are different than others. Most of them are about the same. There's one particular area that's pretty much consistent in every female that they call the G spot. All right, and I can tell you exactly where it is. And to be quite honest, you don't need much penetration to get to it.
No.
You don't need much penetration. Very,
Well,
very, just a
where
few
is it?
centimeters. Just a few centimeters on the anterior wall of the vagina is a 2 by 2 centimeter cluster of nerves. That's called that we call the G spot.
It's like
Right?
it's like parallel to the clitoris.
Right.
Okay.
So
What is that? The clitoris what?
Wow, Dyson. My God.
I don't know
Mr.
who else
Big,
doesn't know.
Mr. Sex symbol himself, y'all off my shirt.
I don't know who else doesn't know, so I'm just asking because maybe somebody here that needs to hear this.
If they don't know this, that's why they need to watch this episode.
Mr. Shake
Yeah, that's what I said.
that ass himself talking about what clitoris.
But just Google that real quick if you don't know.
Okay.
But the
Pause
anterior
it, come back.
wall, roughly 4 to 5 centimeters in. All right?
4 to 5 centimeters, so you don't need much.
It's about that.
Pause.
All right, so on that note,
Not much at all.
the size matter. Wait, before we go there, hold on. Excuse yourself again. I'm sorry.
Remember what I said?
He got the
Communication.
finger already to measure, boy.
Doc, communication. No, we talk about the anatomy, and thank you for that that lesson in finding the elusive clitoris. Clitoris, is it clitorius?
The G spot.
Like notorious?
No.
Okay, all right, the clitoris. So you got this communication. Ans brought up that word, whereas
Do you make
a couple needs to understand and know one another in order to make the 30 minutes count.
Yeah.
Or in order to make the 13 minutes count, to say. To break down the 30 minutes to 13 minutes in case you have something to do, you even make it in 7. You was a busy man, right? Communication. Is there an issue? Is there even a stigma of, is stigma the right word? Anyway, is there something wrong? Let me speak very plainly. Is there something wrong with telling your partner what it is you want them to do while in the act of doing it?
No, I think you should.
You should.
So Ans want to take that one.
It's all
How you
about
mean
power.
no?
I think you should. I mean, so hopefully you've chosen the right partner, because if you are with the right person, you can be open and honest and vulnerable. You know what I mean? And I mean, it saves both of y'all time.
Do you tell your significant other how to drive?
How to drive?
Yeah.
I mean,
Are you a
I'm like-
backseat driver? You
I'm a
when the man
co-pilot.
trying, huh?
I'm a co-pilot. You know, I'm in the passenger seat. I'm a passenger princess.
Whilst
That's a
you're
yes.
driving, do you like being told how to drive?
I'm open. I'm open to
You
it.
ain't sound too
But
sure.
here's the thing, Dyson.
That's
You
a no.
cannot compare. You cannot compare
That's a no.
intercourse to driving, because no pleasure comes from driving.
So let's find something to compare it to. Okay.
It depends on what you're driving forward. Yeah.
Maybe, because I mean, like, what's the point of a sexual experience if it's not pleasurable?
Okay, let me ask this.
Okay.
How can you word something? Let's say I'm in the sack with a female and she's not cutting it for me.
Stop being a
let's say,
dead piece of wood and get more lively.
yeah, let's say,
No.
no, hold on, what?
Yes, yes, yes.
What'd you say?
Stop being a dead piece of wood washed up on the beach on the side about to rot and get more lively or you gotta go.
That is the way not to say it.
Okay, so how do you say that? How do you communicate that?
You could say something like, baby, I like when you do this more. Or,
Mm.
I like when you get on top. And even if she may not have even thinking or feeling like it, because you just told her you like that, okay, she's gonna do it.
But let's get into some more heavier stuff.
Okay.
Let's say there's no
I got a curveball to throw in this discussion so bad.
There's
throw
no
it, because
what,
I don't know if
Tyson?
I want to say. I could just speak plainly. Let's say that the area is not moist enough for um enjoyment. How do you say that?
Then she's not into you.
Fine. And that is something that I definitely wanted to get into. She is not into you.
But you know what though? Oh, hold on.
Either she's not into you or she's dealing with a hormone imbalance.
Well, you know what?
One of the
No,
two.
hold on.
Go ahead.
No, hold on. There have been cases that it may start off dry as the Sahara Desert, right? And then you do a particular thing to her, and it becomes moist. It all depends.
But at that point now she's into you though. But at the point where she is dry, she's not there yet. But then you
Where-
get her there.
What's she into? What's she into at that point when she's not moist though? What is she into?
So okay, are you speaking if this is someone you're in a relationship with?
Yes.
Okay, you're speaking as if someone in your relationship with, and there were times when she was moist,
Yes.
and now she's not.
Yes.
Okay, then she's in her head. Either you did something, or her mind is somewhere else. Because women are more mental than they are. Their mind our minds have to be there first, and then the body follows.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
would that be the same thing when it comes to how tight the experience is put together?
She need to do Kegels or something, because I don't know how to. I don't know. Now that part I can't even. I don't know. So
Doc.
you're saying someone's part who didn't go back.
Straight to dog.
Hold on, Hans. Doc.
Yeah, take that one to the doctor, because I can't relate.
Straight there. Ain't nobody
And
telling you to be a doctor, bro.
you are a sports physician, so you're perfect to answer this question. We're trying to get to the bottom is why most women do not climax.
You want to be a doctor? Yeah, you.
All women do.
That's him.
Okay, what's the question?
When the situation isn't tightly put together, it could that be a matter of her not being into you, or is that a matter of needing to do some type of exercise, some type of, I don't know, Himalayan
Them exercise shit
meditation?
don't work, bro. Them exercise shit don't work. God, yeah, with that shit.
What's happening there?
There's multiple factors that contribute to what we call what you're saying, tightness. There's multiple factors, right? Number of partners. Let me just say,
Childbirth?
Absolutely childbirth. Age. And when we say girth, we're not only talking about alive things, because there are some things that are not alive that women utilize. So those things as well. So age, and yes, absolutely hormones, age, childbirth, and sometimes just genetics.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So there's a whole bunch of things that you have some. For example, you have some women who are blessed. They have multiple children. They have a high body count, but it's still tight.
And that's not a muscle situation. Like, you can't work out.
It's not a muscle situation.
The Kegel exercises.
The Kegels.
The what?
Okay, so Kegels are made.
What's it called?
The Kegel exercises.
That shit sound like a box of cereal, bro. Go ahead.
So a Kegel exercise, that's the muscle you use to hold your pee in, pretty much.
Oh,
All right. So what that muscle does, it tightens the floor, and you get some tightening in that area because you're making the muscle bulkier. But to be honest, in men, because men who do that often have a problem with urination later on, because it tends to disrupt flow. All right. But men do that. That's a technique for delayed ejaculation, also. Right.
Uh-huh.
So, and women use the technique to make it tighter. But the safest way, actually, no, sorry, I would say the most positive way to do it. I have a friend that does it, a colleague of mine who I went to school with. His name is, I ain't got his name, but he's in Jamaica. Good buddy of mine. I ain't got his name because I need to get his permission.
Right
But
on that
he actually specializes in this surgery. So there's a procedure that women can do to make it tighter again, and they tend to do that. Most of his patients either have what they call multi-paras, so they had a lot of babies, or maybe they had trauma, or I forgot about trauma. Sorry about that. Trauma is another one. Or they're past 40 or 50 and they want to, they want to rejuvenate themselves. So those are the biggest reasons why. But yeah, there's an explanation for that. Definitely.
That's good to know.
All right,
What Dyson? What Dyson? What do you want to know? What?
I mean, well, one, you said you had the wrench to throw
Had the what?
into the wrench to throw into
Okay.
the
Curveball.
So fellas, a buddy of mine, maybe like 3 years ago, right? He had a conversation with me. And he asked me, "How would I feel, or what do I think?" Now, during a sexual situation with his wife, which was the girlfriend at that time, she's his wife now. Her thing for her to climax was more than one partner. Okay, and more than one partner, not a female, another guy, two or more. And he actually did it once or twice, but then after the fact, he felt some sort of way, about the situation. So my question to Ans in particular, do you feel that's something, if that's your way of climaxing, or whatever way stimulating your brain, whatever it may be, do you feel that's something you can share with your significant other? Do you think that's something you can tell him?
If that truly was a kink, if I could share it, yeah. But the difference is I would have shared it in the beginning.
Yes, I
Not
agree.
in the marriage. I would have
And
shared
that's
it in
exactly
the
what I
very
told him.
beginning.
That's exactly what I told him.
Because for me, even when I met my husband, I was open and honest. For me, it's like, you're going to accept me just the way I am or not
Yeah,
at all. And
yeah,
I don't want to get into something, then I have to pretend or anything
yeah,
like that. So I would have said it in the beginning. And
yeah.
if we're married now, it's not a surprise because we talked about this.
You know what though?
What's that?
To this day, right now, they're divorced.
She must not have told him in the beginning.
No, well, according to him, they're divorced because she stepped outside of the marriage. But my whole thing to him when he was talking to me a couple of years ago, but for me, that's like opening Pandora's box for me.
Right.
You
I
know,
agree. I agree.
because that comes with so many other
Elements.
things
Hmm.
as a whole. Because once a female tells you something like that, to me, she probably ain't even wifey material. But like you said, that's something that should have been said
In the
from
beginning.
jump. And I asked him, during your dating process, did she even hinted at this is the things that she like, whatever, whatever. He says he hinted at it, but he figured in due time he could change her.
Believe someone when they tell you who they are the first
Absolutely.
time.
Someone show you who they
Yeah,
are. And
that's a
that's what I told
mistake
him.
in
I
his
said, when
judgment.
somebody tell you who they are, you must believe them.
100%.
However, she was reaching. She figured out a way to reach climax. So kudos to her.
Yeah,
Now, this
shout out to
this
her.
getting in your head, being in your head type thing, and that's one of the things that I strongly believe comes in the way of stopping a woman from reaching climax. Whereas, and maybe I'll ask the question to the men. For me, um, I do think about various things while in the act. And sometimes I may even get distracted by the things that I'm thinking about while in the act. But that's not very common. If I do get distracted while in the act, it may it's usually because I've one probably passed the 30-minute mark, or two, I'm not really I have some major things to either deal with, some pressing things that I need to get done, and so my head ain't all the way there. Or have I gained enough confidence to say on the SUP'M show that I get in my feelings sometimes, and I'm not really in the mood. Am I too set? Okay,
You get
let's
into
not
your
even
feelings
journey
about
there.
Not,
what, Dyson?
not being in the mood is something different.
Say again.
I mean, I don't not being in the mood is something different. I think anybody could not be in the mood for
Right.
sex.
Hmm.
Including
That
men.
does not. Yeah, of
This
course.
this
That
is
has
some
nothing
this
to
is
do with.
something I think women need to hear, including
Listen,
men.
listen, there's a big misconception out there that no matter what, men are always ready to go.
It's just that,
And that's not
and
true.
just like, and
No, it's not true.
it's not true. And something that Anne said that we kind of glossed over, but that's a very big point she made. So, so even though we're not in the mood, we can still have an orgasm, right? It's very difficult for women who are not in the mood to have an orgasm.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So we can have an orgasm in seconds, or however long we want to have it, make it last, because of the way our anatomy is and how our physiology works, how the whole system works. But the way her system works, if she's not in the mood, she might have a problem, no matter how good the sex is.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
And
So that's the challenge there. You have to be cognizant of that. I think as a male, you have to be cognizant of that.
Mm.
how does a woman feel? You about to say something?
No, what I was gonna say, Dyson, is even if, especially how you feel like it would be their problem if they didn't get there. Even if she doesn't get there during intercourse, you could still do things after intercourse to get her there too, that you're a part of.
Yes, yes. I agree, and that would require some communication, though. Yes or no?
Yeah, definitely so.
Right.
You would just have to know your lady, but she would also have to be upfront with this kind of information.
How do you feel? How is your self-esteem being told that the man is not simply not in the mood? Is that something that you would immediately take personally?
No,
Is it
definitely
is
not.
let me rephrase it. You can give me the same answer. Is that something that I said you, but women? Should women take it personally if a man is not in the mood for sex?
Okay, so if you know your guy, without even asking him, you may be able to tell that he may not be in the mood.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like if you read the room, basically. And if you got
Right.
up under him and whatnot, and he wasn't that receptive of it, he may even give you a hug. But if you know him, you would know, okay, not right now.
Do you think that a lot of women believe what I believe what Kent, or maybe one of them said it, um, that women believe that a man is always ready to go.
I think that's what society tells us.
Mhm.
That a man is always thinking about sex, that he's always wanting it. It's a constant thing. But I don't think that's the truth. So
And
maybe they do.
what
So maybe
truth?
maybe more do. But I don't think that's true. I think men have moods like women have moods. Now, does that mean that a man could probably be in the mood more often than a woman? Probably. But I also believe that a woman who's in a good mental space with her dude, even if she is not fully in the mood, he can get her there too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about getting there. I know it's, and more importantly, staying there for at least 13 minutes.
Okay.
Or if if you really into laying some floors, a whole whopping 30 minutes, right?
Mhm.
Um, being in your head, I find that I look at a lot of the television shows and movies that people watch, right? Women in particular. Anytime it's movie night and I'm invited to watch a television show or watch a movie, is some, I wouldn't call it, it's a certain type of show. Either we looking at some RuPaul's Drag Race, some that's full of drama, right?
Not in this household. Go
Some
ahead.
some Desperate Housewives,
Not in this household. Go
that's
ahead.
full of drama, right? Some 50 Shades of Grey,
Not in this household. But go
full
ahead.
full of drama, and all of them very sexual, very hypersexual shows, right? And I find that that may be one of the reasons why women may have this unrealistic expectation when it comes to relationship and intimacy. Um, do you feel, gents and female, do you feel as though this plays a part in the actual experience, one-on-one experience with your partner, the type of
Fantasy that's on the TV.
yeah, how she dresses her mind and wraps her mind around what intimacy should be like, should feel like, should look like, should entail. um is it does it have to be drama? Because I did some research, whereas one of the number one things women look for when it comes to um, satisfaction in the bedroom is pleasure, number one, and number two is she wants a hero. And it might just be some weird article. I think that was from what is this, Mind Body Green is the website.
Hmm.
She wants a hero. She wants not just a hero, so like someone who caters to her. They also say being courted passionately. Courted
Right.
passionately. What you think about that?
You know what? This also goes back to what Ann said earlier. We as men, right, when we select our partners as far as wifey material or long term girlfriend material, right? Each woman is different, yes, right? But all of these signs are definitely seen early on in the relationship. But see, we as men, we're so thirsty that we ignore these red flags early on. Because I can guarantee you, a woman doesn't just turn around and be that way at 35, 40 years old. She's been showing signs of that from when you were courting her and dating her. Okay.
Mhm.
The thing is, we're so interested in getting the pussy that we'll overlook the obvious and then later on complain about it.
Right.
And at that point, it's useless complaining about it because she already is who she is. Just like how you are who you are. Like I tell men all the time when I speak to younger men, right? When you meet a female and she's a certain way, stop trying to change her, bro. Either you accept her for who she is, or you kick her to the curb and move on. But don't expect to marry a female and she acts a certain way, dress a certain way, sexually in certain things, and then all of a sudden in marriage you expect those things to change. 9 times out of 10, it gets worse.
But we just trying to make her
No,
climax.
no.
If she doesn't climax, is that a reflection on me? And
But
that's back
Dyson,
to the beginning of the show.
I think it is.
Straight to it.
You think it is? How so?
I think it is because you don't care if she does or not. You led with that.
No, but I didn't. But that's what I led with. But I'm saying now
Mhm.
we already past the 5 to 7 minutes understanding. We already
Right.
passed the 13-minute understanding. We already
Mhm.
passed the 30-minute understanding. And I can say that I can deliver 5 to 6, 13, 30, even 45, an hour, 2 hours. We could foreplay all day. Is what
Right.
I'm saying. We could spend the entire. I could take the day off. We could go on a nice little trip, and we could do it all day long. Right?
And that-
But if
I
you do
say
not, if at that point you do not climax,
It's
is
time
that
to
a
abandon
reflection
ship,
on
bro.
me?
Yeah.
so. The only way I'll say it's reflected on you is if she vocalizes, hey, I didn't climax. Obviously, you probably know that. Can we do this instead? Can we try this angle instead? Maybe we both can explore my body at the same time to see what is pleasurable or not. So if she's not speaking up and being vocal, then I don't blame you because how would you know?
Like, precisely. And do you find that it is common amongst your friends, amongst all the women that you know?
Right,
Because we don't get to have these type of conversations with women, right?
right. Uh-huh.
Um, amongst all of the women that you know, is it common that women are going to have these types of conversations with their significant other?
Just answer it, Dyson.
I would say 90% of my girlfriends, I could think of one or two who probably won't say it, but 90% of my girlfriends would definitely speak up.
So, Ans, are you trying to say right now, right?
I'm listening. Uh-huh.
K Mac is K Mac is your dude, right?
That's my dude.
Okay. Captain K Mac, question for you. You're in the comments now.
Is he
You
in the
mean to tell
comments?
me
Where are my
he in the
comments?
comment? He in the
Oh
comment. I
Jesus!
already read it. He in
I
the
haven't
comment.
seen these comments.
So look here.
My bad, commenters.
So you mean to tell me, K Mac now? You mean to tell me if you and Ans in a situation, I ain't trying to get personal disrespect of your relationship, but if you were there for an hour and a half, you're not going to abandon the vibe. But listen, we gonna take care of this later. So Ans, are you trying to say, hold on,
Pause.
one second,
Go ahead.
one
Go
second,
ahead. Go
one
ahead.
second, one second. Are you saying right now that he must not get off of that shit until the deck gets wet?
So I'll say this: there is no way it's gonna go past a minute
Right,
if it's not right for me. Then I'm not gonna say anything.
right,
It's a dance.
right,
You know what's working for him, what's working for me, and at
right.
this point in our marriage, we have figured that dance out,
Okay.
and it goes without question. But you know, in the beginning, it was
Yeah,
you gotta speak up, you gotta say, hold up, whatever. It's not gonna be, oh, just go through it for an hour, and
yeah,
that is ridiculous. No,
yeah. Okay.
as it comes,
There
and
you
in a
go.
loving way, in a calm way, not in a
Yeah.
rude way. You know what I mean?
So
Not no. As I hungry, get off and make me a sandwich, and come on back.
Uh-uh.
so
No.
after 30 minutes, I'm in the clear. It's no longer my responsibility if she's not saying anything.
If she's not speaking up and expressing herself, I mean, but you should also ask her to truly clear yourself. I would suggest asking her, okay, what can we do different?
Okay, let me quickly throw this one out here.
K Mac say he's a drummer. He know how to make that drum talk.
That's right.
Where
What do you
where's
say? I can't even see it,
where,
Dyson. Put it up. What do you say?
where is it?
K
Communication
Mac
is
says,
key.
I'm a drummer, bro.
Okay,
I know how to
I
make
got
that
you.
drum talk.
I
Oh,
All right,
that's so cute.
that's romantic. That is very
Oh,
romantic.
that is from you guys
Um.
are ridiculous.
Drummers
I
don't
and
know. Everybody knows
FYI,
that.
Dyson,
hey,
I
so
do
K
not
Mac.
like
So what
working
happened? What
drummer
Hold
happens if
on.
I'm a
parts.
violin? What happened if I play the violin? What do I do then? I'm a violin guy. I'm a saxophone
Then
guy.
that would mean if you're a
Nobody want
violent
30
guy,
minutes
then
of
you
that.
should be good with your hands.
Okay, there you go. All right. Just
Yeah,
asking.
well, yeah, well. So
Hey,
I was
you
just
see,
about. It's speaking about good with your hands. Um, how do men and women? How do you deal with the fact if you're only able to produce 3 to 5 minutes, which is either not making the 5 minute mark or barely making that 5 minute mark?
I mean, you could have a fantastic 2 minutes and a horrible 30 minutes.
And with
Right.
that said, let's move on.
Say it again.
I say we can move on then.
I mean, yeah, you definitely can.
How do you feel,
And I
Juan?
mean, and truly speaking, when you
Oh,
have kids, you gotta get creative.
Let me ask
say
you another
again?
question.
I said,
Let
when
me
you
ask
have
you a question.
children, you have to be very creative and swift
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's now a whole so that means that a woman would have to communicate exactly what it is she needs within this 2 minutes.
But I mean, it depends. At this point, we already know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the foreplay has been going on all day. It may be a little neck kiss here, even while cooking dinner, doing it together, a hug here, a butt squeeze there. So by the time it's time for those 2 minutes, it is fireworks.
Everybody on edge.
Right.
Got it. Got it. All right. So we at that 50-minute mark. So let me just do a quick recap of what we've learned today. We've learned that average for a man is 5 to 6 minutes. So fellas, don't feel too bad. We didn't get into the size matter, anything like that, because we were trying to really get to the bottom of why most women don't climax when all men do, and we understand that anatomy has, I think, would probably be first on the list. The fact that it's easier, we have the tools to climax, whereas a woman, it becomes a whole lot more complex. In fact, you have to surgically find 5 to 6 centimeters. Help me out again, doc. That G spot that's behind the notorious. I mean the clitorius.
Clitoris.
2 to 4 centimeters. If I
Huh?
remember correctly. If I remember correctly. My colleague will
Right.
correct me.
There's
I
a
think
few
it's
centimeters behind the clitoris, and
Dyson, the
I
easier
know what
way
it
to
is,
find
man.
it. The easiest way to find it is directly behind the clitoris. If the clitoris is sitting on top and you reach in, right behind it is where it is.
right there.
Yeah,
All right.
nice. And
It's
reach
parallel.
it and grab, bro. Stop playing.
I can look
And
for
it
it tomorrow.
also, it also,
You can look for tomorrow.
it also,
All right.
as it
So we
becomes,
also understand the communication. Sorry, you saying something, Ken?
now I was just saying, as it becomes stimulated, it actually gets engorged, it gets enlarged. You can feel it more. That's all I was saying.
It's literally like an erection. It's like a
Mm,
tiny
okay.
penis.
There's
Literally.
some science. If you're having trouble finding that, just keep looking, fellas. Keep looking. Um, the whole idea of getting in your mind too is another reason that women may have a challenge with. Men may have a challenge with understanding that women are having a challenge with that. So something that Anne said just a second ago, let me put myself on screen, which is by the time you get to the point of intercourse, it could be 2 minutes of explosive fireworks, right? And that is because you spent the entire day getting into the mind, getting into the head. Because, and this is something that I put together in my own little world. If you capable of dreaming about sex to the point where as you could actually climax, then sex must have a lot to do with the mental. It must have a lot to do with the mental. So it's not about getting in, going hard, going strong, right? It's about finesse has a lot to do with it. Romance has a lot to do with it. That slapping on the butt, kissing on the back of the neck, blowing across the air, throwing a wink or doing a little funky chicken. Yeah, girls love that. Yeah,
I get
you be throwing some
listen. I
stars.
get punched right in the face. I do some
You
funky
be-
chicken around my
and I can see Juan right now doing the slow wine for the wife. Yeah, they smiling. No, no more slow wine. No more
No,
slow
man.
wine. All right,
No,
cool.
man. No,
All right. So once again, let me apologize to all of our commenters. Ruckus in the building. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, Google Maps to find the G spot. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can look for it later. All right. Final words. One, you want to start it off?
Man, this one quickly, man. Man, gentlemen, I feel you owe it to yourself and to your significant other to not be a Johnny come lately. Y'all see what I did there? Johnny come late, man. When I say come late, that's the C-U-M, not the C-O-M-E. All right? So, yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet, man. That's me.
Cool. Jimmy and Johnny, come quickly. Hans. What you gonna say? I think the docs are thinking about the slow whining. But you go in clockwise or anti-clockwise to the
Dyson, you ever see this play dance? You ever see
yeah.
this play dance?
Yeah, you got the moves. You got the moves
Man,
right,
look here.
dog.
What?
But yeah,
I just
there's a little Bruce Lee action going on there.
Listen, bro, I specifically remember about shit, 20, almost 20 years ago.
Damn.
He was getting down on the floor, Ken. I remember. I remember. You get you. You wasn't with no chick on
All
the
right,
floor. It was just you. It was you in your own head getting down. And boy, look here. We was laughing, bro.
final words, doc.
so why most women don't climax, but almost all men do. To be quite honest, and using the science, the truth is that's the best way that's the way that evolution designed it, so that we can always be sure that men procreate. If men had to rely on feelings for ejaculation, and women had to rely on um, how they feel for a good or better orgasm in order for procreation to happen, we would have a problem, right? So the point of nature is always to procreate in the most efficient and less difficult way possible. So first of all, the male does not require much stimulation to ejaculate, and the woman does not have to have an orgasm for her to become pregnant.
Correct.
Okay, so that's looking at the evolution. That's the way it's designed. That's the reason why it's designed like that. We're the only animals, besides one or two others, that seem to have sex for pleasure. Definitely us, maybe a few others have sex for pleasure. So all of this stuff comes into play. I admit too that I felt that it was my obligation to ensure that the woman I had was reached her climax. I always felt that way. That could be peer pressure, who knows? But for me, I always felt that that was part of my obligation, and that's something that you had to do. It was just your job. This is what you have to do. But you have to realize that when you're in a relationship and when you just kind of dating or you're just having casual sex, you know, the obligation can get kind of construed, or you have different opinions on how far you want to go to make sure that your partner is satisfied. But definitely speaking from being in a marriage for 17 plus years, you got to become an expert. I read this in a some book somewhere, but it's very important for you to become an expert on each other's bodies. You got to become an expert on each other's bodies. So that means you could be, if y'all want to have a cookie and both of you climax, y'all could do that. If you want to go half an hour, you got the time, the kids out and the kids sleeping over somewhere and the house empty, or y'all on vacation or whatever, and we got a free night, we could go the whole night, we could do that too. So you got to know each other. And something very important Anne said is the foreplay doesn't always begin when you take off your clothes in the bed. Foreplay begins for me, it begins in the morning for me, it begins when she reached work and I at my office, and I send her a message. One of my first messages to her is almost always a flirt. Almost. One of the first text messages I send her for the day is almost always a flirt to my wife. So yeah, I mean, is it our responsibility? Yeah, I think as the man, I think that is your responsibility. Especially in a long-term relationship. If it's not long-term, then it doesn't matter too much. That's the way I feel.
Solid. Hans, final words.
Yeah. All right. So why men always climax and women almost always don't, right? So simply put, I feel like it boils back down to communication, just like my husband pointed out. Um, and that's on both ends. For him to be able to say that, okay, hey, what can we do different? And for her to be comfortable enough to say, hey, this isn't working. Let's try something else. So, and also, like the good doc said, learning your partner, knowing your partner, exploring your bodies together. Because just how most men take pride in getting their women to climax, women like to know that they got their men to climax too. It can almost be like a game. Let's see how fast I can get you there. So communication, partners, that's it. That's all I have.
Cool. So I'll let you in on a little secret. At a very young age, when I first started into my exploration of intimacy, I used to read a whole bunch of Jackie Collins novels. And if y'all know anything about Jackie Collins, she is a very raunchy novelist. And she has a lot of books about um, women having gigolos, hiring gigolos, and going on these. It's a tap into a woman's mind when it comes to exactly what it is she would like intimately. And I think if you have some trouble um, bringing your woman to orgasm, because anatomy shows it's easier for you and it's harder for her. That's the way it's designed. So I get that you do have to care. You should be the one to say, okay, I will go the extra mile to do a little bit more because I know all I need is 2 minutes in a moist, warm area, and I good. Whereas the female that is, needs a lot more. So yeah, man, I'm cool with that. Take on the responsibilities, but at the same time, go back to what Juan said, and I'll end with this. Don't be lazy.
Nope.
Don't be lazy, ladies. Lazy, not good. All right, that's episode.
Put you right back in the water. Put the dead beach whale right back in the water.
You don't want that.
No.
This has been episode 55 of the SUP'M Show. Next week, we are hitting a very heavy topic, and then we're going to release another slate of topics for the month, for the remainder of the month. But next week, the topic is when to file for divorce. So that's going to be a hot and feisty one. Yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Peace out. Y'all be safe.
Y'all take care of each other. Yeah.
Peace.